Hey farm friends! Okay, it's early spring and we are going to check in on our Dahlia tubers. A lot of you are probably receiving Dahlia tubers that you ordered either in the fall or early in the spring, and you might be getting them with like weird looking eyes on them and you're like, what am I supposed to do with that? Dahlias come, they're like people, they come in all different forms and sizes and they have all different types of personality types. So some Dahlia tubers look like this. Some Dahlia tubers look like this. They really are very different. They are like basically a Jowie Winnie is always going to be long and slender like this, whereas like a bride-to-be might be more circular. But regardless, they come in all different shapes and sizes. With dahlias, I think Dahlia tubers originate from Mexico. So we're here in Maine, and if you are a flower grower in New England, you know that they're very sensitive to cold. So that's why we have to dig them up in the fall and then replant them once all danger of frost has passed. You guys, I don't plant mine until June 1st. I don't plant dahlias and tomatoes until June 1. I know that's conservative, but gotta do it. So when you get a dahlia cluster, I'm just going to show you how to break this down. And as I break it down, I'm going to show you what's the healthy part in a dahlia and what's a broken part in a dahlia. So something like this is where an eye started to germinate, started to sprout because the heat in my garage where these were stored started to get over the temperature. So with something like that, I'm just going to like take that right off with my fingers, just like that. It's great to know where the eyes are because then, now that I know where the eyes are, I can go through and each tuber just needs one eye to grow. So, look at that. Boom. I just took that one cluster and now I have three. So there are several eyes on this one. There are several eyes on this one and several eyes on this one. Now when I say eye, it's like anything else. It really is a trained eye. When I first started doing this, I was supremely frustrated because I wasn't sure if I was seeing the eye. Now it's like second nature. All you need is a bin and time, and then you train your eye to look at it. But when you do this in the spring, I have learned looking at Dahlia tubers for their eyes in the spring is 1,000 times easier than trying to find them in the fall. In the fall, they're freshly scarred over, and they're just so much easier in the spring. So now we have 3 Dahlia tubers instead of 1. So I'm going to put these, and these are nice and healthy. The reason I can tell they're nice and healthy is because they're not soft, they're not rotten. Something like this that has this like squiggly thing and it's broken. Oh, I was going to cut it off, but it fell off. Now you might say, can this grow a dahlia? No, this cannot grow a dahlia. If you planted it, it would grow roots and it would take nutrients from your garden, but it wouldn't grow a tuber or a dahlia. The reason is because it doesn't have eyes on it, and so it's not going to grow. It's going to go in compost. So with this, yeah, somebody else would clean this off before they went and split it. But honestly, you can see where all the eyes are, so I don't even have to clean it off as much as you might think. So something like this, unfortunately, that's broken. Also this is broken, so we're going to cut that off. This one that looks a little tired and rugged, that was the mother tuber from the previous season. It can still produce. I like to give mother tubers 1 to 2 more years, but not more than that. So this, snipping off here. I'm going to take this one, snip it there. And also, guys, treat these like eggs. They're fragile. The necks are fragile. You just saw the necks I showed you that were broken. So they do break really easily, and if they do, there's just not much you can do about that. This one, I'm going to snip off, compost it. This, compost it. These rat tails, cut them off. Got this. This one that's holding on to this, you can cut it off or keep it. I'm going to snip those off, make them fresh eyes. This, and then here we've got, a lot of times they just come off like that, which is great. When it does, I always double check to make sure it has an eye. See, that's broken. Had an eye, but it's broken. So that's actually going in compost. Eye there. eye there. Okay, so we took that cluster and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 viable healthy tubers from one cluster. So other things to keep in mind, if you have dahlias that are this size, less than the size of a ping pong, just toss them. They're not going to have enough oomph to give you what you want. And if you have some dahlias where you're like, if you're like me, those things I said, the tubers I said I'll put in the compost, what I do before I put them in the compost, I put them in a pot and I don't water it. The soil is pre-moistened, just like always, the dampness of a dried out dishcloth, say. And I put it in a pot, and then, look, see how it's sprouting? Can you see that eye? So this wasn't, I thought it was broken, and it might not sprout. I put it in here, and it turns out it's okay. So this is my little Dahlia Hospital. But I have a ton of them. They're all down here, and they're all, if you look all right here, these are all Dahlia tubers that I wasn't sure about, and they've all mostly started to sprout. So before you toss it into compost, this is like my pre-compost pile. I throw them in soil and see if I get some germination.